Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review God is a Bullet. And this action thriller coming your way from writer-director Nick Cassavetes. This focuses on Detective Bob Hightower, played by Nikolai Coster-Waldau, who's known for playing Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones, teams up with the former victim of a cult, played by Micah Monroe, in the search for Hightower's daughter, who has been kidnapped. And this seems like a simple enough film, except it's 2 hours and 36 minutes, and filled with so many needless threads that if you took them all out, this could easily been an hour and 45 minutes and been a more effective film. And at times, this drags. It really drags. And it goes all over the place. There's whole entire subplots with extra characters that don't add anything to the final sum of what this film turns out to be, where you're just like, why did we spend all this time with all these other characters when it really doesn't add anything to the film? When it really comes down to it, it's a revenge thriller. It accomplishes that. It's about this young woman, played by Monroe, trying to, find some kind of closure to the abuse that she suffered at the hands of this cult. And in the end, she technically does that. But I feel like this film bogs itself down so much throughout. And at one point, this film is so schlocky and so pretentious at the same time, and you're just like, how's that even possible? Because when you look at the violence in the film, it's so gratuitous. It's so over the top. We get that the bad guy's bad. Do we need to see him shoot a woman in the head 10 times and see her head explode in disgusting CGI blobs? Do we need to see a guy get shot in the face with a shotgun and watch a disgustingly grotesque CGI jaw hang like this off of his face? No. It didn't really add anything to the film. It just felt gratuitous and just over-the-top ridiculous. And then you have all these moments where you have Coster-Waldau and Monroe interacting with each other, talking loftily about faith and God and all that kind of stuff in the most pretentious, obnoxious way possible, to the point where I was rolling my eyes just listening to the dialogue that was going on. And good for Monroe, who's a really fantastic young actress, who's really committed to this role, trying to make all this sound genuine. And I think Coster-Waldau does a fine job too, as this pretty stoic and intense detective going on this revenge mission. It's just, this film is so much, and they try to put this love story too in between the two main characters that just feels so not only unearned and out of place, but kind of messed up, that this guy's going through this whole entire thing. She's been abused through this whole entire, her situation with this cult. And now it's like, well, I'm going to sleep with this man who's the only person who seems to want to help me. And I'm going to fall in love with him. And it just feels so, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right by the end of the film. And it builds up to this point like this is something that we've been wanting to happen this whole entire film. And there's this payoff that just feels uncomfortable, to be honest. And then you have this whole entire cult filled with, Jamie Foxx is in this movie, and it's just, there's not a whole lot going on with this cult to make it interesting at all. It's just flashes of really obnoxiously obvious, satanic imagery and uncomfortable violence throughout this film, to the point where I was just, this is like an action thriller. There's no real action. It's just how bloody and violent we can get with it. And it's not thrilling. It just gets disgusting after a while. So when you put this all together, this feels like a big misfire. And a film that really just feels self-indulgent and self-serving and just self-absorbed in the way that it's executed. And I really didn't get much out of this film after the 2 hours and 36 minutes of sitting through it. But those are my thoughts on God is a Bullet. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.